My third video in the series of the SCA Aquarium. Here is a hobbyist tank from New York who's using a Plenum. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. Not bad. I'll be showing other people's aquariums that have sent me their photos and give you a little rundown on them. But this particular tank is using a Plenum. You can see the bubbler in the back. And he does use a lot of the BCB baskets in his sump. This one has a sump. This is a Red Sea Aquarium. Hello everybody. This is Dr. Novak again. This is part 3 of the SCA Aquarium. And what I wanted to show you and let you know about the stand, in case you're going to get one of these. The stand is pretty well made. As I said before, it is stained probably with a polyurethane on it, but the inside has also been polyurethane, so that's a good thing. And the doors open up like this. Just press them, which is good. Now what I did is I did a couple of modifications right off the bat, since this is going to be something that we all like to do. I placed the electrical up high so no water can get to it. It's easy to reach if you reach in there. I drilled a hole in the back, that hole that you see there, and I drilled that with a drill that you normally use for doors. So it's about 2 1/8 diameter. Then I got my router out and I chamfered both sides and resprayed it again with polyurethane to seal it. And then I hooked everything up with clips. Let's see, I used clips like this. These kind of clips. Okay. And I just clipped the wires up. Has a real nice cord, maybe a 7-foot cord on it. The next thing I did is I went to Lowe's and I bought these. These are for kitchens. These are called Reva shelves. And of course they come this way all together. Very well made. These are from Lowe's. And here's what they are, Reva shelf, and they're 11.5 inches. I looked at Home Depot and their shelves were a lot cheaper. Cheaply made, I guess I should say. Not cost-wise, just cheaply made, where these were more heavy duty. But the reason I had to cut this one, so I cut these front and back with a Dremel tool, and then I polished it, rolled and polished the ends. See, so it's not going to hurt. I may get some rubber caps and put them over these, but that's basically the handle for this canister filter that's heavy. Now I'm sure everybody puts canister filters in their aquariums like this, whether you have a big one or maybe you have a big Flovo 4 or 6, and they're all heavy and you got to try to scoot them out of the cabinet. Well, it just moves right out. And it's pretty easy. So I did this because one reason is this particular manufacturer claims that these shelves can hold 100 pounds when fully extended. Well, I'm not going to have 100 pounds of weight on it. So now you can pull it out, grab the canister, move it, and put the canister back, and they're close, soft close they call them. So it makes it a lot simpler. Of course, because I'm going to use a wear, you have to have an auto top off, and this is the auto top off. I'll do a review on that, what I think about it. Got that off the internet. And of course, now you can bring this out, open this up, pour your water in here. It's supposed to hold 5 gallons. of water, fill it up, and slide it back. There's enough room on there where I can actually put a CO2 canister tank, or in between the two shelves I can put a CO2 tank. And I left enough room, as you can see on the sides, to put bottles or anything else that I may need. And you can put, I'll put hooks in it and things like that. Another thing I did is I used a product here, Never Wet, and I sprayed the bottom of it. This is from Rust-Oleum, and it repels water. So that's something I sprayed. Even though the cabinetry was, as you can see, it's completely with polyurethane on the inside. And it's light, so they didn't do it dark, which is good. So you really don't have to paint the cabinet white if you don't want. So I tested out the bottom here, put some water on it, and it just beads right up. So that's good. In case any water spills, I don't have to worry about ruining the aquarium. But I came up with this idea that to put these shelves in, because this just will make maintenance and handling the aquarium a lot easier, especially with that big, huge ADA canister filter. One thing I want to tell you, when you put these shelves in here, a little trick is when you put the screws in, the screws here, when you put these screws in, you pre-drill them, of course, then you put a little Vaseline on the screw and then screw them in. That's going to help so your wood doesn't split, and it's going to help the screws go in a lot easier, so you don't wind up messing up the heads of the screw by friction. It's a little trick that you use when you're putting screws in, especially when you deal with cabinetry that has hardwoods, like your kitchen cabinetry will sometimes have very hard wood, and when you go to screw into it, so just put a little Vaseline at the tip of the screw and screw them right in after you pilot drill them, and you should be all set to go. This is something that I bought. I'll do a review on it, tell you what I think about it. It's basically, it's supposed to be 5 gallons. You fill it up, and this will be connected to a pump and everything else. Now, you definitely, if you're going to use a weir, you are definitely going to have to have some way of putting water back in to the aquarium all the time to stabilize the water inside the weir. Okay, the water in the tank is not going to change, but the water in the weir can change. So you have to use something like this to stabilize, which is no big deal. I've done this a lot, so I like them myself, where it automatically helps fill your aquarium. And this idea of just pulling it out and then filling it up, I'll let you know when I come to this point and do a review on this, okay? I'll let you know what I think about it, and can you change it? Can you make one yourself cheaper? And the automatic top up. Yeah, these are soft close. See that? So the shelves are very well made. If you're definitely thinking about this, I would definitely only go with the Lowe's ones. And they come in different sizes. This is the 11.5, and they go up like 14, 17, and so forth, depending on how big your cabinetry is. But this is great for the fact of just trying to move heavy stuff in and out of the aquarium. Like this is a piece of cake now, this heavy canister, pulling it out. It really works out good. And then once it's in the cabinetry, then I'll hook up all the lines. And that hole right there that you see, the hole right there, yep, that the hole right there is where the 3 holes are going to be, and the tubing and the piping's all going to come down there. I'll show you how I do that. This is a main brace, so you can't take this main brace out of here. You can't take that out. It's been bolted in the back. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, bolted in the back. On top, it's being cut an L shape on top. So this sits right on it. So this gives the center part strength, because this tank's going to weigh over 1,000 pounds by the time it's all full. So definitely you're going to want something, a brace or something. And this brace is about, I'm going to say 2 inches by 1 3/4 inch solid wood. So when the weight comes down, it will definitely help hold that center from bowing in order to protect your aquarium. But I'll be honest with you, a cabinet like this, if you wanted to buy it, I would say if a store was selling it separately, a cabinet like this would probably cost you about 400 bucks. You know, not cheap. It would not be cheap at all, because it is a very nice cabinet. I can't really say anything bad. Here's the back of it. Let me get that out of the way. Here's the back, of course. That's where all your pipes are going to come in. Now, I could have ran the electrical line out of here, out of this hole, run it out of here. That's what I did with my last tank. But I decided, of course, to drill a hole. And the hole, of course, in this hole right down here, this, of course, is, I measured where the lights are, the plugins, and the wall sockets, and they come up to about 17 to 17.5 inches. Okay, so what I did is I just measured from the bottom of the aquarium here, came up 17 inches, and then that's where I put my hole. So that hole should be even with the light socket. So hopefully it will match up, because I did measure quite a few of the light sockets, and they were all about 17.5 inches from the floor on up. That should match, and it's a big enough hole, so I should have no problem sending more than one cord through there if I need to add on another extension here. So this one has 6, so if I have to add one on the other side. But basically, there's going to be a heater, the pump here, and you're going to have your air pump. Now I have to figure out where the air pump is. I may put a little shelf, or maybe just hang the air pump, or even set the air pump on top of here. Set it on top of here, because really that's all glass. So put the air pump right on top of here, and that will run the everything. So there's a lot of options that I have on this. This right here is just so this, when you open it up, stops. Then you pour your water in here, and it comes down here and goes into your reservoir. So that's about it. I would say it's a pretty nice cabinet. And for the price you're paying for this SCA Aquarium, people, you're saving 30–40%. Now, the price includes shipping. And like I said in my last video, this is basically what I would say a high-end tank stand. You can buy cheaper, of course, from your local PetSmart, Petco. I don't think they sell 90s, or these even come bigger. They come 90s, and they come a 90 long. So if you don't want a 24-inch, if you don't want a 24-inch one like this, definitely you can get an 18-inch. You're going to knock off about 6 inches. I mean, if you think about it, yeah, if you think about it, you're 18 inches about from here to here. So you're going to lose 6 inches. You're going to lose that 6 inches of depth in your aquarium if you get an 18-inch one. The reason I like this is because it has the 24-inch depth. And even where the wear is, you still have 18 full inches from here to here that can be utilized, and then 24 inches to give you depth. So if you want to come up with rocks or something like that in the aquarium. But this is the best time to do all your thinking on how you want to set up a tank, I think that's a good idea with the shelves. But I'll tell you right now, after looking, don't go with the Home Depot ones, go with the Lowe's shelves if you're going to go with one, because it says right on the box too that these will, when extended, hold over 100 pounds extended. Let's see. Yeah, here. Fully extended, 100-pound rated, soft closed sides. So that's quite a lot of weight. And nothing that I have inside this cabinet is going to be 100 pounds. Even that canister filter, when it's full of water, because there's so much medium in there, it's going to have a lot of displacement. Even the 5-gallon reservoir, not going to weigh that much. So I've designed it so I can have a spot for my CO2 canister to go in. If I want it, I could put it on the shelf in between. So these are things you have to think about when you're getting your aquarium about maintenance. How are you going to maintain it where it's going to be easy for you? So I don't know, not much work really had to do. Didn't have to. This, of course, this whole thing's designed for saltwater because that's how they originally sell it. And if you didn't listen to my first video, you can custom make these. If there's something you don't want protein skimmer, you don't want the sump, you don't want, you can tell them and they'll give you a credit for them. The motor, and here, why would I need any of that stuff when I already have a nice canister here and I got my auto top off here. So no, I don't need those things. I'm never going to turn this into a saltwater aquarium. So I'll leave it as is, but I think it came out pretty nice. It looks like well worth the money. The bottom has been reinforced, so in other words, the bottom's just not some cheesy thin plywood. Okay, I think it looks like that bottom is at least 5/8 thick. Okay, it couldn't be the 3/4, but when I drilled through it, it appeared to be at least 5/8. So if I spill water, there's not a problem. And that's about it for this video. This stand is, I would say, ready to go and be put in its spot. But that's one thing I do suggest. If you got work to do on your cabinetry or your aquarium, do it when it's sitting in the garage, and then you can move it and bring it. But no, I really like this. I think that is just wonderful. And remember that this isn't going to knock the tank over because the tank weighs thousands of pounds filled with water. So you don't have to worry. Now you can do your maintenance. In fact, if you think about it, this is going to be off the floor. If you had a fluval and you can pull it out off of your cabinet, I'm just giving this as food for thought. Fluvals usually at the bottom, right, have a valve so you can empty it. So if you could pull this out, and it's going to be a little bit off the ground, you could probably empty it easier, connect your hoses or whatever you want to do, and empty that canister out so you can take it over and do your maintenance on it. And then when you're all done, just put it back in and slide the whole thing back in. Hook it up, and you're done. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.